Hello, welcome back to the channel. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Hope everyone's doing okay. So, just got a weekend spins video for you. I say weekend spins, it's only the Friday night. It's Saturday morning as I film this. I am going out later on during the afternoon and evening, so I won't be spinning anything more this weekend for the moment. But I wanted to show you what I listened to and basically what I bought a few weeks ago on my trip to Southampton, which if you haven't checked that video out, please do so. I'll put a link in the description so you don't miss out. Several blind buys on that trip. So I got them, knew nothing about them, absolutely nothing about them, just bought them because they looked interesting. And to be honest with you, I've put them in the spare room, given them a clean, open them up, obviously, given them a clean, put them in sleeves, and kept them there for a few weeks until last night, where I gave them a thorough good listen and a thorough good review of my ears. So, how do we get on? Were these albums any good? So, first of all, I put this one on. Let's get it out of the sleeve because we've got a bit of glare there. This is called All Her Plans, and it's by Cable Ties. As I just said, I knew nothing about this because I didn't look it up. I just liked the look of the cover, and it was cheap. So basically, this band, this is the third album they've done, actually. This is an Australian three-piece band. And they look to be quite popular, to be fair. They got a Wikipedia entry. That's where I got the information, so hopefully it's as true as can be. They are labelled as a punk band. Now, when I put this on, the first two tracks, they were really quite they were very punky, but I don't know, the vocals were quite sort of screechy. It's a three-piece, as I said, and you've got two females and a male, which, to be honest with you, I can't think of any other bands that have that kind of setup. Three-piece with two females and a male. If you know of any others, let me know. But I'll rack my brains. Anyway, I'm digressing. Music. So yeah, first two tracks were very kind of frantic and punky. Vocals a bit screechy, and I was kind of like a bit, it's okay. As the album went on, it kind of mellowed out a bit. It got a lot more melodic, and there were a lot more tunes that were a lot more in the post-punk vein, even power pop. And as it went on, I really grew to like it. It's great, absolutely great. So, verdict, will I spin it again? Yes. Would I recommend it? Yes. If you see this one, this is a great one. All Her Plans by Cable Ties, and I will probably end up getting their other two records at some point if I come across them. So, good start. Next up, we have a band called Furrow, and the album is called West Feltham. Now, this was I paid £3 for this. This has been heavily reduced, and this was from the vintage Vanillo store. And I was like, if it had cost a lot more, maybe I would have passed it up. But for £3, it just looked interesting. Now, again, as I was listening to this, I was looking it up and trying to find information about this band, and I could find very little information at all. I can tell you they are a two-piece. It sounds like they've got the kind of basis of drums, a bass guitar, and one or both of them singing. They're from the UK, and this is so difficult to describe. It's a very odd album. It's experimental. I would probably class it as post-punk. It could have been released in something like 1981, 1982 on some obscure indie label. I mean, indeed, it is a proper indie release. It's on a label called Bleeding Gold Records. But as I say, I really could not find anything much about it. This was released in 2014, and they've done nothing since. This looks to be their only album. They did another album before this, and from what I can see on Discogs, it was cassette only. But as it stands at the moment, there's only 2 copies for sale on Discogs, both of them from the US, which is where this was manufactured. But they do appear to be a UK outfit. But there's no Wikipedia entry. They're on kind of Bandcamp. There's Last FM. I don't really use those sites that much. I don't really know what more to say about it. It is a really, it's a bit of a challenging listen. It's an odd record. There are moments that are really quite sort of frantic and, trebly sounding, but there are other sort of soundscapey tracks that are absolutely beautiful. I guess you could compare it to sort of a more experimental version of My Bloody Valentine. Maybe they've been listening to Husker Du, something like that. There is a noise rock element in there, but they've got mellowness as well. But this could be one of the most obscure things I've picked up in years. On the fact that really pretty much everything I own, there's information online somewhere. With this, there just isn't, and there's hardly any copies about. When you get those questions in the VC on those threads that say show a record that no one else in the VC has got, I reckon I could do it with this. I've never bothered trying to answer that thread before because I just can't. I reckon this no one else has got. But if you know any different, let me know. And obviously, if you can check it out, do check it out. Not a lot of copies out there for sale online, but if you can get hold of it, it's great. That's Furrow, West Felton. Very interesting. And not what I was expecting. I was expecting a folk album with that cover. We move on. We have got... I have to remind myself. Look, I'm looking at the spines to remind myself what these things are called. This is a band called the Backseat Lovers. The album is called Waiting to Spill. Let's get it out. Get rid of that glare. Again, knew nothing about it. Liked the cover. It was priced pretty cheap. This is a major label, actually. This is on Capitol Records. Now, this one I would describe as... This is what you would call an indie album. I don't like the term indie. I think it's overused, but it is what it is, and this kind of fits the bill. Musically, certainly more commercial than the last 2, but the musical arrangements on here are nice. I would say my only kind of gripe with it, it's got a very, very commercial sound, and it almost sounds to the point of being slightly, despite being good, and I will play it again and would recommend it, it almost sounds a little bit unoriginal. Now, whilst I was listening to it, I was trying to get to the sort of bottom of why I found it unoriginal, and it's the vocals. The vocals sound quite generic, I think. They're kind of tailored to the masses, to the mainstream audience. They're kind of breathy and croaky. They just don't sound very... The singer's voice is just totally unoriginal, and it kind of lets it down a little bit. But I think it's one of those ones that will just grow on me because, you're not listening to the tunes as much. You're just listening to, the first time, do I like it or not? But I think as time goes on, I'll listen to it more and I'll recognise the tunes and get into it more. So, again, don't know too much about it, but they are a major label. I mean, this is released in 2022. I don't know if there's anything on the horizon for them yet. Bands these days, they only seem to release things every 2 or 3 years, so they might release something else. But they're from the USA, and it's very, very good. If you like sort of a good quality indie band with decent arrangements, yeah, it's well worth checking out. It sounds like I'm having a go. I'm really not. It is a good album, but as I say, I think the vocals let it down a bit. But there we go. Another tick. So 3 ticks. We did well. It's worth doing these blind buys. So I've just got 3 more to show you. I actually listened to these next 2 on Thursday whilst I was working at home. So they say Thursday's the new Friday. I know it's not technically the weekend, but I thought I'd show them to you anyway. Here we go. This is a great one. This is brilliant. I have shown this before recently. I bought this from Rise Above back in May. Excellent trip and excellent haul to the excellent shop, which I'm planning to return to soon. I think I might take a trip in September. Anyway, this is the second album by Womb. I think this is from, I want to say 1969. think that's it. It's called Overdub. This is great. This is a great late 60s psychedelic record, but it's got kind of folky and progressive elements in it. Musically, I think it's better than their first record. I have got that, and I've always been a bit on the fence with it. But this is much, much better. The tracks are great. Sometimes they can get a little bit unpredictable. There's sort of, the odd, disjointed arrangement here and there. Lengthy tracks. There's a bit of jamming. But if you are a fan of progressive rock, late 60s psychedelia, this is definitely one to get, and I'm privileged to have it because it was only released in the US, maybe in Canada as well, but it was definitely not released here in the UK. So to actually find a copy in the UK without resorting to the World Wide Web was a great thing. So yeah, Womb Overdub, slightly pricey, but it's not that rare. It's just a scarce record. It's certainly, if you're in the US, it's very obtainable, definitely. Right, another one that I played on Friday night last night. Oh, an old favourite of mine. This is a mini album by The Room. The album is called Clear. It's on Red Flame Records. Proper indie record, this one. And it's from, I believe, 1980. No, I was going to say 82. It's actually 83. So The Room started out as a post-punk band. They released an album called Indoor Fireworks. That was their first release. And then their second release was this. And it's actually a mini album. It only clocks in about sort of 25 to 30 minutes, 6 tracks. It's absolutely beautiful, this record. Where they started out in a more typical post-punk but great vein, icy, jagged, that kind of sound. This is much more sort of breezy and summery almost. It is a gorgeous sounding record. It really is. If you're a fan of just a really good kind of early 80s post-punk jangle pop or indie music, this is essential. It is so nice. I don't see this in the wild. I bought this in the wild for about £4 a good few years ago, but I've never seen it since. But I would imagine it's out there on Discogs for not much money. So if you like that sort of thing, do yourself a favour and pick it up. And to finish, just get this back, come on. To finish. Wow, what a record this was. Blimey. Okay, here we go. This is a heavy one. Actually heavy in weight, not heavy in the music. Okay, we've got Boards of Canada. The album is called, remind myself, Geogardy. Is that how you pronounce it? You tell me. Okay, so I've had this one sitting in my spare room for probably a good year. I got this, strange, a good friend of mine, who I work with, who I'm actually seeing later, funny enough, gifted me an unclaimed raffle prize, and it was a voucher for a shop here in Portsmouth called Nothing Ventured. Now, Nothing Ventured Records is a great shop. However, what it sells, I will say it is an electronic and dance specialist. So what it sells is not always going to be to my taste, despite the fact that it's a great shop, well stocked, and if you like it, I recommend it. Anyway, I went in there and I thought, they've got Boards of Canada. I've got a couple of mates who have been banging on about Boards of Canada to me for years, how I should get hold of some, and how it's the best band ever. And I'm like, all right. Anyway, they had this in there, so I bought it. I don't know if the raffle, the prize, the voucher covered it, but I might have paid a bit extra. Anyway, it's a triple disc, very nicely packaged. It's only 5 sides. The third disc only has 1 side, and they're not long sides. It's basically like listening to 5 sides of EP. They're only about 13, 14, 15 minutes long a side, so it's not a daunting kind of triple album. The music, oh God, I don't know how to. I have a hard time describing this because I don't like doing needle drops. I don't want to do them. There could be copyright issues, and I I don't want to get into the sort of tangle of copyright issues. So I'm just going to speak about it, and you can all go off and try and listen to it yourselves. But they are an electronic band, yeah. I would say along the lines of, they're probably influenced by early krautrock. They're not. It's not dancey. It is kind of loopy, sort of rhythmic, and kind of ambient soundscapes. But the way it is, it's really sort of disconcerting sounding. It's really, it's kind of got a weird dizzy sound. Yeah, almost a little, almost a little bit disturbing in a way. But I very much liked it. I was listening to this when I was working from home. I had the laptop nearby me, so I don't feel I could give it the full attention it deserves. I really want to sit down and give this a proper listen from start to finish. The actual sound quality on this was out of this world. Absolutely. The clarity that was coming out of the speakers was absolutely brilliant. The last video I did was about good sounding records, the best in my collection. And I've got to be honest with you, had I have listened to this before I made the video, I may have actually put this record in. It sounds amazing. It's pressing quality, I would say, is 99% great. I noticed a few little pops and clicks, few odd little distortion crackles here and there, but nothing to sort of completely ruin anything. I'm being picky. But yeah, this is a great record, and it's my only one by Boards of Canada. I'll certainly get more, and it really is a wonderful package. I mean, there are originals. This isn't an original, this is a remastered reissue. And I think originals are on Discogs. I don't think they cost that much more, but this is still widely available. It's on Warp Records. You can buy it brand new. And yeah, what more can I say? But it's a daunting task trying to describe things like this because it's so unique, so original, and kind of refreshing for me because it's not like anything else I listen to be honest with you. I really like it, and it's a refreshing change. So there we go. Okay. That's it. That's all from me. As always, thank you very much for tuning in. If you like what you see, please give me a like. Please consider subscribing. There will be more content to come. I don't know when the content will be or what it will be. I need to get ideas together, and I haven't got a shopping trip for a good at least over a month yet. But please stay tuned. I will be putting little shorts and posts up as well in the meantime. So until the next vid, take care of yourselves, and see you all again soon.